The United States in World War II, they pulled together. Everybody went to war, women, everybody, and it wasn't any all this what's going on today. I was born here in Unadilla, Georgia, April the 2nd, 1922. Grew up when times were really tight. My daddy went in business here in '37, and he hired a truck driver who was married and had a child for $9.75 a week and doubled his salary. He was making a dollar a day, and of course you could buy Coca-Colas for 3 cents. You could buy a sack of flour for 50 cents. Nobody had any money, but we got along good. Went through high school, 2 years at the University of Georgia, and then Pearl Harbor bombs came into effect in '41. I joined the Naval Air Corps in 1942, and I was called into the active service in January of '43. I was sent to Salisbury, North Carolina, to learn how to fly the Piper Cub, and from there I went to the University of North Carolina to pre-flight, just getting in shape for combat. I went to Corpus Christi, Texas, flew the SNJ. I got my commission down there, came home, got married, went to Melbourne, Florida, took training in the F-6F Hellcat, Navy fighter plane. I went to San Diego for a couple of weeks. Had my wife with me. They sent me right on overseas, and she came back home, and was shipped to Hawaii. And I stayed there for about a month, training with Air Group 9. I joined Air Group 9 there. And from there, we went down to a little island called Ponam, and we stayed there for 30 days, just big enough to put an airfield on. We went up to the island of Ulithi, and we got on the aircraft carrier Lexington, CBE, and went into combat from there. And from there we sailed north to the coast of Japan. My first combat mission, which was the first fighter planes over Tokyo in World War II. We stayed up there for several weeks, just bombing airfields and things around Tokyo. And from there, we went down to Iwo Jima and supported the Iwo Jima invasion. And that was tough for ground troops there. And we stayed down there for about 10 days, then back up around Tokyo, up in there for a while longer. And then we went over, supported the Okinawa invasion. Iwo Jima and Okinawa, they had a tough time on the ground on those two places. They were dug in so deep. The Lexington got hit with a 5-pound bomb that we were on, and we transferred to the Yorktown. We got in a typhoon out there, and we sailed into the Philippines, down at Leyte Naval Base. One of those waves in that typhoon just bent that deck down up in the front of it, and it had to come back to the States. Came home, 30 days leave. While I was home on leave, they dropped the atomic bomb. That wound up World War II as far as combat's concerned. People ask me a question quite often, a lot of people don't agree with it, what I thought about dropping the atomic bomb. And to me, that was one of the greatest things our President Truman did. But I know it was a hideous thing. But if we had to go on into Japan and try to conquer that thing with them dug in like they were, there's no telling how many casualties on both sides would happen. I shot down 3 Japanese fighter planes. We was awarded 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses, 4 Air Medals, and 2 Presidential Unit Citations. And for a little boy from Unadilla, Georgia, I thought that was real good. We had to go, and we were willing to go, and it was a privilege to serve the country. I went to Norfolk, Virginia, and got a discharge from up there. And I have been here in Unadilla ever since then, and came back to, went in business with my daddy in the wholesale grocery business, and stayed in there with him and my brother and my children and all for about 50 years. Had 3 fine children, and that's one of the big things of my life is my children. They've been good, and they look after me, and I'm so proud of them. I feel honored. I have people who come up to me all the time and say, thank you for your service, but I was honored to serve, to do what little I did do.